Okay, well, I think this is a good point to start then. I'll just share the agenda in the chat there. And okay, so before we get started, if everyone's happy, we can just do a very quick round of introductions, because there's a few people we've not met before, and it's just nice to sort of get everyone's voice heard in the room, and hopefully that makes it a bit more comfortable for people to contribute later on. So what I'll do is I'll start by introducing myself and then pass it on to someone, and if they can go around. If anyone who's got their screen off, and if you're not able to contribute to the introductions, don't worry, just give a pause. We had someone else earlier sort of drop out of the meeting. We don't want to make anyone feel uncomfortable. So if you just say your name and then what you wanted to be when you were growing up. So my name's Toby, and I wanted to be a vet when I was growing up. Simeon, do you want to go next?
I'm Simeon, he, him, and I'm probably a zoologist or something. I think I used to like nature stuff. That's what I remember, but I didn't really have a concept of what I wanted to do for a job when I was growing up. Should I hand over to somebody? Andy?
Hiya, I'm Andy, and when I was a kid, I think I wanted to be a joiner, and then after that, an archaeologist. And I'll pass on to Linda.
Hi there, I'm Linda. I've got no idea what I wanted to be when I grew up, but I didn't think I would be, my role here is I'm president of the Scottish Artists Union, so I didn't really imagine doing that when I was younger. And there you go, that's how life can turn out sometimes.
Gilly, do you want to go next?
Yeah, hello, I'm Gilly. I use she, her pronouns. I wanted to be a dancer or a choreographer, and that's what I do. I will nominate my beloved Leo.
Hi, I'm Leo. When I was growing up, I wanted to be a criminal defense barrister, and I'm definitely not one of those. And I will nominate Ewan.
Hi everyone. I can't remember what I wanted to be like when I was really wee, but I think by the age of 10 I wanted to be a drummer, and I still am a drummer, so amongst other things, I'm quite happy about that actually. Hit things. And I nominate, is everybody Thomas?
Yeah, I'm here. I think that when I was growing up as a kid, I was thinking about acting. Yeah, as a professional actor. There's something inside me that I want to continue that career as well. As not visual arts. Well, who is there? Sarah, are you there?
Hello. I think I remember once wanting to be a pilot, but I never pursued that. But I'm a musician now, and I was always a musician, so I was born a musician. Oh, who hasn't? Naomi?
Hi, Noemi, she, her. I wanted to be an astronaut, but I'm afraid of heights, so I became a performance artist. And I nominate Kate.
I am Kate, pronouns are she, her, and I also wanted to be an astronaut. And I'll nominate Johnny.
Oh, that's me for once. Normally there's at least 2 Johnnies on the call. I wanted to design cars. Wanted to design, make and build cars.
Great, and then I think, is it just Craig last? We'll just give you a second. If you don't want to say hello, that's fine, and we'll get started.
Hey there, guys. This is a shout out from Canada. I'm following you guys on Twitter. I am running, or one of the key organizers for the Canadian campaign for the arts, and wrote the letter with Zainab and Clayton that got a lot of attention over the summer, and we're still organizing here. And so I'm kind of just like listening in and kind of like, what? Oh my God, there's some artists across the ocean. I want to know all about them. Zainab and I are like starting to write a book about UBI and the arts that we're hoping to get published next year. So we're looking for projects that are going on. So we've got a couple concerts coming up in Canada with artists, and we did one a month ago. But I don't want to take up too much of your time. I'm just going to listen in. So I wanted to be, when I was a young kid, I wanted to be a geologist, like when I was like 7 or 8, and collect rocks. And I think I was just mostly the aesthetic quality of them, you know, just like, oh my God, there's a smooth one, there's a rough one, there's one that's like hard. And but later, when I was a teenager, I really wanted to be a filmmaker. Both my mom and dad are artists. I grew up in New York City in the early 70s and lived in Soho. So I'm kind of, you know, I'm not a coal miner's son, but I'm an artist's son of former hippies. And so I wanted to be a filmmaker. And I would sneak off at high school to watch Jean-Luc Godard films at art cinema houses and fall in love with French girls on the big screen. But that's my long rant. Thank you so much. And I'll just turn off my camera.
Okay, well, that's great. It's great to have you here as well, Craig. I've been following some of the stuff you guys have been putting out, and it's been excellent and a real inspiration for us as well. So it'd be great to talk more in the future. Okay, so let's get started. In the agenda, I've got what is basic income, which is what I usually run through, but just for the sake of time, I think most of us know what basic income is, so I'm just going to skip over that part. And I'll get to what the UBI Lab Network is. So UBI Lab Arts is part of a broader network, which is across the UK and in a few other countries as well now, including the US. We've got the UBI Lab Washington, DC, started very recently. We've also got other labs involving, there's the UBI Labs Women, UBI Lab Youth, LGBTQ. Very recently, Disability Lab has just started, and there's also a refugee lab in the pipeline. Is that right, Johnny? Yeah, just excellent. Okay, brilliant. If you want to know any more about these labs, I'll just put a link in the chat. There's an FAQ, which the UBI Lab have put together, which is really great. Okay. So what is the UBI Lab Arts? I think some of us have been involved in some of the conversations we've had. This is our third meeting. In the first, we present and we agree all to include musicians, performers, theatre makers. We decided that we'd also represent the views of arts workers, and so people working within institutions like galleries, theatres, music venues. So the technicians and front of house cleaners, etc. You know, we acknowledge that quite often. Apparently, I'm breaking up. Is that all right? Can you still hear me? Okay, great. So yeah, we acknowledge that a lot of artists or musicians and theatre makers do perform these roles as their day jobs, as their way of sort of funding their arts practice. And then we also thought about whether we would include audiences as part of our remit as well, but we need to clarify what we mean by audiences. It's good to just to stress at this point as well that we're advocating for a universal basic income, which is universal, so not just for artists or musicians. I know that there are a few proposals out there, and you know they're welcome, but we think that everyone should receive basic income. Okay, and in our last meeting, we sort of talked about what the role of the UBI Lab Arts would be, acknowledging that there's lots of other labs and lots of other groups sort of advocating and pushing for basic income. You know, we thought, you know, we sort of, in our discussion, we sort of put up the two polemics of whether it should be like a propaganda machine or more of a research and study group. And we sort of felt that we fell somewhere in between that, you know, like, but ideally, you know, we'll be working on projects and developing creative methods for talking about and communicating the idea of basic income, but also interrogating it and what it actually means. Because we're, you know, aware that there are lots of proposals of basic income out there which aren't actually things which we would advocate for ourselves. Okay, so in today's session, there's going to be two short presentations, first by Andy Abbott and then by myself. And then after that, we've got a proposal or a call out for another project which the UBI Lab Network are working with an artist called Sarah. We'll sort of share that with all of you, and it'd be great to get some feedback on that. And then we'll talk about the potential UBI Lab blog takeover of the Arts Lab. So if anyone wants to write some blogs to go on the UBI Lab website. Okay, so I think that's all of the stuff there. Unless there's any questions or clarifications, I'll hand it over to Andy for the first presentation.